Hello again, welcome back to part 3, home workers. Let's start with what or who is a home worker from a Cyber Essentials perspective. Generally speaking, this is a member of staff, contractor or volunteer who works for you and spends over 50% of their time based at their home address. In other words, out of the office. However, note that sales or other staff who are genuinely based out of the office, for example at clients' offices, have meetings at cafes, etc., are excluded. It only applies to individuals who are based at their home address. The next element you need to clarify is whether home workers users are set up with a VPN. This is a secure connection, normally back to the head office or another location in scope. And importantly, whether it's configured to always be on. If the answer is yes, no other controls are required and you can effectively ignore home workers in this use case. However, I would still advise you state this clearly in your answers and mention that you've got an always on VPN. But also remember that the home worker's computer is always in scope, regardless of whether it's personal or company supplied and whether they have a VPN or not. So you will need to ensure all appropriate controls are always in place. Okay, so let's look at an instance where you have one or more home workers and they access the internet without a VPN. This is generally the case. In this scenario, you will need to ask the home worker whether they have their own router or are using an ISP supplied router, for example Sky, BT, TalkTalk, etc. If it's an ISP supplied router, the only requirement is to change its password and also ensure it's configured in NAT mode. In 99% of instances, this will be the case, but you'll still need to check. If the home worker has replaced the router, they then become responsible for ensuring it's still under support. The administrator password has been changed, and importantly, it is running the latest firmware. It's difficult to tell whether router updates include security or other critical updates, so we always advise our clients to play it safe and ensure you are running the latest version. Most home routers fall out of support within 2 to 3 years, so we always advise you purchase a business grade router, Dratex for example. For smaller organisations where everybody works from home, we advise you designate a director's office as the HQ from a Cyber Essentials perspective. This is important if you're going for Cyber Essentials Plus in particular, and treat all locations as home workers. Just before we finish, I also wanted to advise the following. Ensure you add home workers to all applicable answers, even if it's to remove ambiguity. Common ones include list of networks, network equipment, operating systems, the 14-day firmware update requirement, and ensure you include home workers firewalls in those questions. Thanks for joining us today. Cybersecurity's over and out.